genre.
The Doctor's Companion presents Doctor Who The Long Way Round, the weekly podcast where we review and discuss every episode of Doctor Who, one Doctor at a time. I'm Cassandra Fredrickson.
I'm Nick Jimenez.
And I'm Scott Corelli.
And today on the show we'll be discussing The Evil of the Daleks, the second Doctor's seventh story.
So the evil of the Daleks, which should be called the human factor, but marketing.
Oh, see, I would have gone with the Dalek factor, but then I thought that sounded like a Bravo reality show.
I'd watch that.
I mean, yeah. Who wouldn't watch that? So
we're falling for your lives. Sorry.
The idea of talking head Daleks is maybe the great, like, testimonials, like talking to Daleks.
That's like chef kiss good. Oh.
I did not come here to make friends.
We all hate the Emperor Dalek, but we have to do what it says.
Yeah, they're all wearing like t-shirts of their colleges.
Oh, man.
Anyway.
So I really think there's a lot of missed opportunities with Daleks. If we've learned anything from doing this show, there is untapped comedic gold.
Different avenues that can be explored, like the Joker.
Yeah, just like the Joker. Anyway, So Evil of the Daleks, which is directed by Derek Martinez, who previously directed the earlier in the season, The 10th Planet, which was the first Doctor story. He directed that, and now he's directing this, which is the end of season 4 of the show. And this is written by David Whittaker, the only man that Terry Nation approved of writing Dalek stories other than himself. This particular story, which was what was basically written because Terry Nation had decided that he would be making a Dalek spinoff, and so therefore the Daleks need to be killed off once and for all, never to be seen again on Doctor Who, because he wanted to make his own Dalek show.
Where they like moved to Beverly Hills.
God, if only. No, his Dalek show would have spotlighted the Space Security Service and their top agent, Sarah Kingdom, both of which had been created by Terry Nation in the Daleks Master Plan, something we haven't covered on this show yet.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Other characters would have included Sarah's brother, David, a character named Captain Jason Corey, and an android named Mark 7.
I hope they just would have called him Mark.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's a great
Mark
name for
7.
an android. Mark.
So Nation, he wrote the script, and the pilot of this show was called The Destroyers, and it was he was like, yeah, we're gonna start shooting this December 12th, and the BBC read the script and was like, I think not, Terry Nation. And so Terry was like, okay, fine, I'm taking the Daleks to America. And then brought this pilot script to NBC, and then that's when the BBC was like, you know what, let's just sever ties with this guy. So that's when they decided to write the Daleks out of the show. So that's how we got there. Of course, NBC did not pick up this idea.
The Destroyers.
The Destroyers. Imagine,
were the Daleks the Destroyers?
I think so, yeah. I don't know what the ongoing plot of the show was going to be, and I have a feeling that that's why it wasn't picked up.
Got it.
Is because it's like, well, what's the story? It's like, well, these guys fight the Daleks like every week, like what? But yeah.
I mean, the Transformers fight the Decepticons every week. I guess the Destroyers would have fought the Daleks every week,
right? But that's a children's show.
Yeah, that's what I meant for adults.
He was trying to propose this as like a primetime adult series, the Torchwood of its day, if you will.
Oh, good God!
So that was the reason why this was put together. This particular story. It was also decided that Ben and Polly would be leaving, and so they needed to introduce a new companion. And as with the previous episode, so too in Evil of the Daleks, they made both writers create a character that would work as the new companion. In the Faceless Ones, they created a character named Samantha Briggs. And the actress, when they decided that, like, okay, she's the one, Samantha Briggs is going to be the new companion, the actress who played Samantha was like, I'm good. I don't want to play the new companion on Doctor Who. So then they were like, well, I guess it's Victoria then. So then they started casting Victoria. She was cast by let's see, what is this woman's name? Someone named Denise Buckley was cast as Victoria, who was in The Prisoner. And then when Denise Buckley accepted the part, something happened. No one knows what, but Deborah Watling ended up being cast instead. So it was over whatever happened over the course of 2 days. And Buckley bailed, and then they cast Deborah Watling. There's no information on what exactly happened, but I don't know anything about Denise Buckley, and I like Deborah Watling, so I'm fine with it.
Huh. I
don't know. Anyway, so I'm assuming it's something like I like maybe she has like a grandparent or an uncle who was like working at the BBC or something like that. I don't know. Because I'm not sure why you would switch them out. Because like Watling had been acting since she was a child, but she had never been like a major role in anything really, except for a 1965 production of called Alice, which was about Lewis Carroll.
Oh hell yeah,
yeah. So she was in that, but like that was like the only thing. It's no Prisoner, that's for sure. So. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but Deborah Watling's great, and I'm happy. I was like very happy to see her in episode 2. But we'll get there. So the other bit of stuff that was happening in this was that Whittaker's original take on the material, the first draft of this, was kind of radically different. Originally, the Doctor and Waterfield went. They like went back to 20,000 BC and retrieved a caveman named Og, and that's what the Doctor used to deduce the essence of humanity. And
I get it, yeah.
And then the Daleks' plan was to eradicate this quality from every generation of man, thereby eliminating Earth as a threat. And then, meanwhile, like Jamie and Victoria were going to be held hostage on Skaro. The character of Bob Hall was initially called Bill and was a gangster, and Anne Waterfield was alive and well and in like the early stages of this series, but eventually all of those things changed And we got the episode that we ended up with, a superior episode, I would say, because the last time we went back to visit cavemen, it didn't go so well.
Yes.
So let's stay away from that era. Doctor Who?
Yeah, maybe it's not. Maybe that's not an interesting place to see the Doctor be the Doctor.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's accurate. So, yeah, I mean, that's like basically it. There's not anything else. I mean, there's like that interesting stuff with like a new companion and the original version of the thing, and then the Dalek spinoff. But the episode itself, kind of went off without a hitch. It was, pretty smooth production. And in fact, they had already written The Tomb of the Cybermen, which is the first episode, the first story of season 5.
Oh,
and
heck
so
yeah.
they rolled right into Tomb of the Cybermen, shooting that right after this, so that they could finally end their curse that they had been living with since Underwater Menace, which was that the making of each episode, like the production of the episode, began a week ahead of the broadcast of that episode.
That's crazy.
So they were only like, I know, yeah.
Oh my God.
So like they would shoot the episode, and then the following week that episode would air. And that is insane.
That's stressing
so
me
they
out.
they finally shot Tomb of the Cybermen, which gave them the nice buffer going into the next season, which is really good. But yeah, that's Evil of the Daleks. Obviously, of the 7 episodes, only one of them exists, and it's one thing when you get a story and none of the episodes exist, and you can only imagine what it was probably like. But then you get an episode, you get one like Evil of the Daleks, where one episode exists and none of the others do, and it's just like, it feels sadder because you just like, you kind of like get a sense of like what this story was, and you're like, man, this is already good and it doesn't exist. And then you get the one episode that does, and you're like, man, this.
Yeah.
God.
It's so full of mood and atmosphere, and the performances are so strong in this one.
Yeah. I just get viscerally angry with the BBC. It's like, why would you delete these? Why? Why would you do that?
Because the past must burn, Scott.
The Evil of the Daleks, Part 1. Written by David Whittaker. Directed by Derek Martinez. Story edited by Jerry Davis and Peter Bryan. Produced by Innes Lloyd. Air date 20th of May, 1967. The second Doctor and Jamie round a corner of Gatwick Airport to discover that the TARDIS has been stolen. A nearby air mechanic named Bob Hall tells them that it was taken by someone called Jay Smith of the Leatherman Company. Unbeknownst to Jamie and the Doctor, someone named Kennedy is listening to their conversation and reporting it back to their boss, Edward Waterfield, an antiques dealer who explains that the police box is a special request for a particular client. The Doctor suspects Bob, and when he leaves the airport, the Doctor and Jamie hail a cab to follow him. Bob meets up with Kennedy, who knocks him out for being followed and then hides from the Doctor and Jamie before sneaking out. The Doctor finds a box of matches from the Tricolor Cafe and deduces that the matches have been taken from left to right. The only course of action is to go to the cafe and find someone called Ken who is left-handed. This, however, is revealed to be a trap planted by Kennedy when he meets with Waterfield, who confirms that they are dealing with the Doctor with a photo of him. Once Kennedy leaves, Waterfield goes to a secret room hidden by a bookcase, where he retrieves a Victorian jug, which he explains to his assistant Perry is for Dr. Galloway, showing Perry the photo of the Doctor, who is to be met at the Tricolor Cafe and told to meet Waterfield at 10 that night. At the Tricolor Cafe, the Doctor is sure that it is a trap, but says that they have nothing else to go on. Eventually, Perry approaches and tells them to be at the shop at 10 p.m. At the office, Kennedy hears Waterfield shouting at someone, demanding information and becoming furious when he is not given it. Later that day, Kennedy breaks into Waterfield's office and investigates. Soon enough, he finds the secret room. He breaks into a safe. As he is looking in the safe and his back is turned, a Dalek appears. The Dalek approaches, demanding to know who he is as a horrified Kennedy is backed up against the wall.
It's been a really long time since I listened to this, because the first time I experienced this story, I listened to it as like an audiobook form. So I hadn't seen the episode that exists, but the episode that exists is episode 2. I forgot that we start off in like quote unquote present day, like in the 60s. And I'm like, wait, isn't this in like Victorian era? How do we get back there? So it was kind of cool for me to like follow the mystery. Like the mystery in this episode's really cool. Like it's like breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Which I like.
I think that like structurally, like it's a really long episode, like long story, but like it never feels long because like every episode is really like pushing the story forward in an interesting way, which is more than I can say for like some 4-part stories. Yeah. So I was really impressed by that. Yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I think David Whittaker is really good at that. Like, he's very good at the structure, like, here's what I have to work with, and here's what I'm laying out for the audience. I just want to talk about episode 2, because it's the only one that exists.
Well, yeah. So the TARDIS gets, like, stolen.
Right.
Yeah, I really loved it almost felt like a Charlie Chaplin short at the first minutes, where it's just, like, the Doctor and Jamie, like, chasing the TARDIS down, like, a dirty road.
Yeah. I watched a reconstruction for episode 1. It was the only one that existed on this YouTube channel, and what the guy had done was like lazily animate it, and so like it turned everybody into like Terrence and Phillip from like South Park.
Oh my god!
And it was that scene was pretty great of them just like running down the street. But yeah,
there goes Doctor.
Yeah.
I actually, I'll be honest, I forgot during this episode that this was like in some ways the first like solo Jamie adventure, or like early on into because like Jamie is such a brilliant companion, and his chemistry with the second Doctor is so immediate that he already feels like he's been the companion the whole show.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love the part where they get in a fight like over a railroad or over like a train, and it scares him. He like has a full on fight, and then he's like, "Whoa, what's that?" And like, "No, it's okay. It's a train. It's a train." And like the guy gets away.
I love Jamie so much.
Yeah.
Oh man,
he's great in this.
He's so
willing
great.
to roll with so much, but then like you have a train and he's just like, a beast. Like,
yeah.
One of my going about like, you know, some of my my favorite things that or the thing that I was doing in the last episode where I was like sort of like bringing up like things that were not established yet, but they're like it seems like they're hinting at, like almost they know. The fact that someone named Jay Smith took the TARDIS, and I was like, oh, John Smith. I thought that was interesting. I don't know. Doesn't have anything to do with it. There's another one in episode 2 that's like that, but I just thought that was so funny.
Oh yeah, I caught one like in the next episode. Like I think it was like 6 or 7. That was really interesting.
Oh, okay, cool. I can't wait to hear that one. This is they go to like a club.
A coffee bar, I believe, was
coffee bar. Okay, they go to a coffee bar. Did you
where
guys
the communists meet?
In the reconstruction you guys watched of episode 1? Because I watched the Terrence and Phillip one. Did yours have the original song in the coffee bar?
Oh my god! Paperback Writer.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Because
that tripped me up.
In the officially released version of this, the one that has Fraser Hines narrating it, the one that Cass was telling us about off mic. In that one, they had to change that song because they didn't want to pay for the rights to that.
Yeah,
Beatles song.
it was nuts hearing a needle drop by the Beatles in a show set in the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy.
I don't know when Paperback Writer came out, so it might, because this came out in 67, so I don't even know if that was like new Beatles or current Beatles.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what album that's on.
But the first scene at the cafe before Paperback Writer, they're playing like a bluesy cover of Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen while the doctor and Jamie are like at the bar, and the doctor's like, "Oh, what's the use?" It's okay, doctor. And this is delightful.
I love the idea. That's my favorite thing too, because I'm just like, just imagine if the doctor was just like, well, never get my TARDIS again, and just gave up and just stayed there.
Just slide me another one, and just like Superman 3 Superman.
Just drinking away his regenerations.
Oh no.
Oh man. It's like, well, they took it. I give up.
God, what's the use? I'm such a failure. My own granddaughter hates me. Like the companion always asks, like, no, it's okay. Come on.
Oh man. I love Jamie like just awkwardly dancing.
Oh, it's great.
That's good stuff. The also underrated old-timey British men calling each other darling.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I missed that.
Yeah. No, there was like the two people like there's that one guy that has like the very proper like, oh, hello, like that guy.
Yeah.
That
the guy
guy
that's
was
like orchestrating everything.
Yeah, he was no, the other guy. The guy who's only in like the first 2 episodes, I think.
Oh, the butler guy?
Okay.
Yeah, the guy who like calls the cops in the second episode.
Yeah, I loved him.
Yeah, he's the one. He's just like, oh, hello, darling. He's like talking to like another old timey British man. I love that.
I was getting like Guy Ritchie vibes these early episodes before we really dive into full Dalek mode. Like just seeing the Doctor interact with like 60s London toughs was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good. And then Dalek shows up.
Yeah, I do like the reveal of the. I always like it when the cliffhanger's the Dalek, and it's just like, oh, the Daleks are back.
Yeah, because like the guy was like, did they take? Because like the Doctor finds the matchbook, and then you find out that was a plant, and that this was all like being orchestrated. And the guy's like, we have to make sure the Doctor and his weird friend comes. Mm-hmm. And you're like, why? Like, oh, of course, a Dalek is making. it's always just a Dalek found you. You're like the unluckiest person in the galaxy. And now the Dalek is like bullying you into doing what it wants.
The Evil of the Daleks, Part 2, written by David Whittaker, directed by Derek Martinez, script edited by Jerry Davis and Peter Bryan, produced by Innes Lloyd, air date 27th of May, 1967. Kennedy attempts to flee and is shot by the Dalek. Waterfield discovers Kennedy's body and is horrified at the Dalek's callous indifference to human life, but the Dalek demands that he follow orders. Despite his shattered nerves, Waterfield lays a trap for the Doctor and Jamie involving a photo of the two of them ripped in half and waits for them to arrive. The Doctor and Jamie enter the antique shop a little early and inspect the antiques, which seem to be too new to be genuinely Victorian, but too perfect to be reproductions. The Doctor and Jamie are led to Waterfield's office by his assistant Perry when they discover Kennedy's body. Perry runs off to call the police as the Doctor investigates. He notes half of a photo of his face is in the dead man's hands, as Jamie discovers the other half of the photo wedged in a box. Before the Doctor can warn him against the suspected trap, Jamie pulls at it, releasing a gas which knocks the pair out. Waterfield moves their bodies onto a platform, and the three of them disappear. The Doctor wakes up to find himself and Jamie in a country house in 1866. A man by the name of Theodore Maxtable introduces himself to the Doctor and states that he will explain everything, as a maid named Molly gives the Doctor a restorative beverage. Maxtable and Waterfield show the Doctor into a high-tech laboratory and explain that they have been experimenting with time travel and inadvertently provided entrance to a group of Daleks who took Waterfield's daughter, Victoria, prisoner and forced them to kidnap the Doctor. A Dalek enters and threatens to destroy the TARDIS unless the Doctor allows Jamie to be subjected to a series of potentially lethal tests. Maxtable believes the Daleks may be trying to thwart their pattern of being defeated by humans by becoming more human themselves, using Jamie as their guinea pig. Back in the living room, Molly wakes Jamie just as a ruffian enters from outside and attacks them. When the Doctor and Waterfield enter, Jamie is missing. The Doctor says that if they don't find Jamie, the Daleks will take pleasure in killing everyone in sight. Maxtable is ordered by the Daleks to start the experiment, and any delay will result in death.
A dude gets killed by a Dalek immediately.
He gets
Poor
killed,
guy.
and the Dalek just like backs away and disappears.
Right? Oh, shoot. Like, out.
Oh man,
It's almost like a haunted
being
house.
invisible. I was never here. Oh yeah, like he's resetting. Like yeah. Man, I would love going into like a Dalek haunted house.
It would have to be the Daleks made what they think a haunted house is like.
Oh my god. No, wait. That's literally a subplot in one of the Dalek episodes, isn't it?
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, they
Is
go
it?
through like a haunted house with like frickin' Frankenstein and like Dracula and stuff.
What?
Is that the chase? I think it's the chase. It's bad,
man.
but it's so much fun.
Oh man. Okay.
Season screamings.
I think it's yeah, I think it is the chase. I love the Doctor and Jamie sneaking around this antique shop, and the Doctor's like, "Don't touch anything," and then Jamie like walks into a vase.
Yes.
He's kind of like, they have kind of like a Todd and Bojack thing going on.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the episode that exists, and man, it's so good.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, God, I love this so much.
It's really, I just love them Scooby-Dooing at the beginning.
Yeah.
Just
yeah,
really
like
investigating.
trying to find the hidden door and stuff.
Yeah.
The guy, Waterfield sets up a trap where he's like, I'll tear this photo of him. I'll put one half in the body on the body, and I'll put another half in a like a chest, a little chest with like gas in it to knock them unconscious. I just like, what a like specific plan to.
I mean, it works.
I don't want to get too far ahead, but there's a couple of 2 to 3 step traps where it's like, I knock this person out. It's almost like a Hitman game. Like, I knock this person out, this person sees it, then they find this thing, and then I attack them. That happens like 3 times.
I like the Daleks when David Whittaker writes them because they're smart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, after a while with Terry Nation, like, I know we haven't watched a whole lot of the Terry Nation Dalek stuff, but they just get like really silly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What do you mean? I'm sorry. Hijacking Earth and turning it into a rocket ship to
It's brilliant.
pilot
It's brilliant. It
through
works.
the universe is a brilliant plan. And
Actually, and Cass is a point, like, with this being like the only episode that you know that survived that you can watch, the Daleks in a Victorian mansion is genius, because it almost recasts the Daleks in this episode as like a Wellesian creature, like
Yeah.
just them creeping around a haunted house, and like I love that all the Victorian people call them like creatures. Like, oh, is the creature alive? You know, I felt like I was reading like War of the Worlds.
yeah. No, I like that. I'm sure that
they were
was like part of his intention.
Yeah, and they were creepy in this one.
Yeah, for sure.
Obey.
Yeah, they're so bossy.
Is the cute maid in this episode too?
Yeah,
Yes.
Molly. I love
Yeah,
Molly.
she's great.
I love
Molly's
Molly and
great.
Jamie.
Well, so they knock them out and then take them back to Victorian times and then explain that they were asked to do this by the Daleks because they're told.
Please.
Because the Daleks have Waterfield's daughter, Victoria, which Victoria from Victorian times. I will never.
Yeah, come on.
I will never get tired of the laziness of that character name.
Yeah.
Honestly,
yeah.
that never
Hey,
occurred to
writers,
me until
sorry.
like I was watching it today. I was like, oh, That's silly.
I like it. It tells me to go easier on myself as a writer.
Yeah. Because it's a multi-layered thing, because the Victorian times are already named after someone named Victoria.
Yeah.
So it's like this weird like triple layer dip. I don't know.
I guess it'd be like if they did like an episode of Doctor Who set in Seattle in the 90s, and then like the doctor met a guy named Kurt or a girl named Kurt.
Yeah.
Like Kurt Cobain. Yeah. Anyway.
That would be weird. Yeah.
That would be weird. Yeah, thank you, Scott.
It would be weird.
Validating my...
It would be weird.
No, you're right. Thank you. But no, because if you hadn't have said that, it would have just been that. No, never mind.
It's like, why wouldn't it just be Kurt Cobain? Why is it just some random person named Kurt?
That would have been crazy if the doctor, if the Daleks had abducted Queen Victoria, and that's why they were doing this.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They're like, look, they're going to kill the Queen if we don't do this. If we don't send you to meet with the Daleks.
That would actually be a crazy reveal if it had turned out that like Victoria Waterfield was Queen Victoria the whole time. But she was like, this is like where she was like super young.
Oh yeah, before she became queen.
Yeah, before she became queen, yeah.
Oh, I wish they would do that more where like you don't know that it's a historical person until the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for in this particular case, she would have been like a companion for like a long time.
Oh man!
Like,
and
okay,
then
I have to go back and become queen now. Wait, what?
Yeah. Like 3 episodes in, it's like, oh wait, oh my God.
Oh man!
They would not have had the balls to do that back then. I mean, they don't now, but like,
God, that would have been incredible. So I love the concerned Dalek in Victoria's cell, the one that is like, you haven't been eating.
You will not. You will not feed the flying pests. That's the best
They're
line.
birds.
Yeah, I know.
It's like Tangled.
And like he tells her to get on the machine, and it does something painful to her, and then he's like, you're 16 ounces lighter. And you're like, that was a scale? Why was it so complicated, and why was it painful?
Because they're Daleks, duh.
Everything has to hurt.
Oh man.
It builds Dalek character.
Everything hurts.
Victory through pain. Eat more. Rolls out. I felt bad for Victoria. She was a real. But it was effective because like when as stuff goes on, you're rooting for her.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. There's also the bit where when Jamie and the doctor first wake up. This is another one of those moments that I like talking about, where he was like, the master brought you here, and he's like, the master, and he's like, oh, of the house. You must be talking about Waterfield. And I love that because it's like, well, first of all, the master doesn't exist yet. They didn't know what that is, but it's the way that he says the master. It sounds like he's talking about his old buddy, his old pal, his boyfriend. Yeah. But so like, again, it's another instance of like classic Who not knowing what it's doing, but sounding like it knows what it's doing.
Sure. Well, if we ever need audio of Patrick Troughton saying the master, we know where to find it.
That's true. Evil Daleks. There it is. So the plan,
Maxtable.
Yeah, so the plan by the Daleks, according to Maxtable, who is what a character this guy is.
Yes,
he's the one that looks like Sigmund Freud, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes. He has the power to hypnotize people, and he loves gold.
Apparently.
He loves gold, and he is terrified of Daleks.
Yes. So I love that. The Daleks' plan, according to him, and then it's further backed up later on. But they want what they've called the human factor. They want to know how humans work, and they want to isolate that and then give it to Daleks to make Daleks like super beings, because they'll take all of the good stuff about humans and, you know, everything about Daleks, because Daleks are already perfect, and then make them unstoppable, essentially. Yeah. That's the idea, because they think that's the problem.
And dear listener, whatever problems that are coming up in your head just listening to that, you're right. And
it's a dumb plan.
And it works out exactly the way you would think it would, and it's delightful.
Oh, it works out even better than you would think, honestly.
Yes.
So,
no spoilers.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's episode 2, and I've never been sadder that no other parts of this exist. Mm-hmm. Episode 2 is so good. I guess it's probably like the best episode to exist, considering it's the first appearance of Victoria. Like it's nice
true.
that it's nice that her first appearance exists. So, you know,
it's super weird. It's a weird first appearance for a companion, but
yeah, true.
Do not feed the flying pests.
I love the idea that the Daleks they want to destroy Earth not because of people but because of birds. They hate birds. They hate birds. They're like, look at it, mocking me. I can't fly, but it can, and it knows.
Show. Just like speeds through the birds, and they like scatter in the air.
What's the planet that Pertwee goes to with like the giant bird feet? Is that Metabelius 3, I think? The Daleks have been there, and they're just like, no birds.
Never again.
No birds.
Oh, God, I can't wait till we get to that.
Somebody broadcast Hitchcock's The Birds to Starro, and the Daleks were never the same again.
There's like one Dalek legend about a Dalek getting carried off by a bird, and it's just permeated the entire culture.
They hate birds. They hate birds as much as the other guy loves gold.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I love that crazy scientist guy.
He's so good.
No scientist should love gold that much.
The Evil of the Daleks, Part 3, written by David Whitaker, directed by Derek Martinez, story edited by Jerry Davis and Peter Bryan, produced by Innes Lloyd. Air date 3rd of June, 1967. The Doctor investigates the room and finds a piece of straw tracking Jamie to a nearby barn. Jamie was taken by a ruffian named Toby at the behest of Arthur Terrell, the fiancé of Maxtible's daughter Ruth. Toby and Arthur argue over payment, ending in Arthur having a dizzy fit as the Doctor enters, overhearing the end of the conversation between them. The Daleks argue with Maxtible, demanding a swift start to the experiment. Maxtible sends his servant, a mute Turkish muscle man named Kemal, to guard the house against Jamie so that Maxtible can begin the Daleks' tests. The Daleks confirm that they are wanting to acquire the human factor. When the Doctor asks why Jamie, the Daleks say that because of his travels with the Doctor, Jamie is the most intrinsically human person in the universe. Faced with the option of breeding a race of super Daleks or losing his TARDIS, the Doctor is forced to agree. Maxtible explains that the way to extract the human quality is through staging a rescue of Victoria by Jamie. Ruth enters with Terrell, who reacts very wildly to the presence of Jamie and has another dizzy spell. The Doctor enters, and Jamie blows up at him for conspiring with Waterfield and Maxtible. Jamie, however, succumbs to the Doctor's reverse psychology when he forbids him from attempting to rescue Victoria. Maxtible explains to the Doctor that as Jamie tries to save Victoria, his emotions will be recorded and saved. The Doctor is to manipulate his emotions. Having unknowingly begun the test, Jamie enters the south wing of the house and is only saved from a booby trap by a bird triggering it first. He rounds the corner and squares off against Maxtible's muscle man servant, Kemal.
I mean, I guess Jamie gets kidnapped in the last episode.
Oh, right. Yeah, by some ruffian.
Yes. Wait, I'm not entirely sure what his purpose is, other than to be, like, I don't know, working class British. But like,
he's a real Toby, is what he is.
I guess
Yeah,
so.
he's a literal Toby. I think they just found him off the street, and he was like, "Hey, penny for service, sir. Like, we need you to grab a boy in a kilt." Like, "Oh, do worse for more." And there you go.
Yeah. So they kidnap Jamie for some reason, even though the Daleks need Jamie to do this experiment thing. I honestly don't know what the point of it is, but they get Jamie back. And so he starts this labyrinth of it's kind of like a rat maze a little bit.
Yeah.
They have him, it's like a reality show. They have him hooked up to a bunch of stuff like Dalek instruments, and they're gonna measure his brain impulses, and the doctor's gonna crystallize them into whatever the heck the human factor is.
But he's not allowed to tell Jamie what's going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Cannot.
Because it would affect the test.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the doctor and Jamie not getting along. Like,
oh man, yeah. But I will say, is this the episode where Jamie kind of like snaps at the doctor for the first time, and they start arguing? That was great.
Mm-hmm. The doctor uses reverse psychology on him, and I love it because it's like poor stupid Jamie.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of when I can tell that like I'm frustrated, and the way that Scott reacts to me being frustrated is a lot like, I don't know, with Jamie and the doctor, where he's like, "And you never do this, and I'm scared," and the doctor's like, "Yeah, are you?" Just kind of like waiting.
I feel like I should be offended by this.
No.
You're his wacky space uncle, Scott.
Yeah. And I'm just a lost Scottish boy out of time.
Bearing our soul here.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, not in a bad way. Because the doctor's like, well, I can't tell him why. It's an interesting quandary, and it's actually kind of the rare. I don't know. Anytime the Daleks can like actually put the doctor in a sort of intellectual bind is always really interesting, because you don't think of them as being crafty characters.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Jamie's the most intrinsically human person in the universe, according to the Daleks.
Yeah. Because he travels with the doctor.
Have you seen him? What a specimen.
He's so scared of everything.
He's scared of everything, which makes him the most human. He's afraid of trains.
He's afraid of trains and yet constantly looking for fights.
Oh my god. Oh no, that's so funny. He's afraid of trains, and then like the Daleks later being a train, like
oh yeah, they play trains. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Bird trips a booby trap. Big guy walks out.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
End of episode 3.
Strong man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll get to him next week.
Oh great! Won't that be a fun conversation?
But a bird just makes sure that he screws up the Daleks' plans one more time.
Birds.
That's why they hate them. They're always ruining their booby traps.
I would be down for like a retcon in Doctor Who where birds are all part of an alien race that are like the watchers of the Daleks.
I'd be down. I would just be I would just love for like a doctor to just be like well, little known fact about birds, Daleks hate them.
And then just move on.
Just moving on. Yeah.
Yeah, Jodie Whittaker just like throws a swallow at a Dalek. Well, how about this?
Just lures the Daleks into like a taxidermy room like full of birds.
Oh my god.
The Dalek just starts screaming and spinning in circles.
Falls over.
Oh man. Anyway.
Oh, gosh.
Daleks.
Is that it for this week?
I think that's it for this week.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, you guys.
Yeah, we've got more Evil of the Daleks on the way.
Yeah. If you haven't joined our Facebook group, the Doctor's Companion Listener Group? Listener Society? Something?
I think it's just group.
Yeah. Do so. There's some cool discussion. I mean, we've been on hiatus, so there hasn't really been much, but hopefully it's more active with us back. Check out duelinggenre.com/support if you'd like to become a patron. We encourage you to do so. Please and thank you. And we also have a TeePublic store if you want to wear our faces on your chest or on a mug or on a sticker.
Wear our faces.
Yeah. And if you use Amazon, which you do because you are a human in the 21st century, check out duelinggenre.com/Amazon. All of these help us keep the site going and our podcast in your ear holes, so we appreciate that. Next time we'll be talking about the back half of Evil of the Daleks, and I'm super excited.